So the Department of Home Affairs refutes reports that it has reversed its decision on the Zimbabwe special permit. The department says it has only reversed a circular issued last week because it created confusion. On another issue, the Home Affairs Department is expected to open some offices temporarily, extending operating times at those offices and ports of entry to ease congestion associated with the festive season. We speak now with the Home Affairs Minister, Motsoaledi. Thank you very much, Ra, for your time this afternoon. Let's start with that, perhaps, and let's ask a clarity-seeking question on the Zimbabwe special permits.
Good afternoon, Dudu, and good afternoon to the listeners and the viewers out there. Well, indeed, Dudu, as you say, the cabinet decision on the Zimbabwean special permit still stands. Nothing has changed. What has changed is that the Home Affairs officials issued a circular purporting to clarify the cabinet decision and give directions. And that circular was unnecessary and it caused more confusion. And I gave instruction yesterday that the circular be removed. And that was what was removed. Otherwise, every other thing still stays the same.
And the deadline of the 31st of December, what do people need to know?
Well, if you remember, we said the Zimbabwean exemption permit is coming to an end on the 31st of December. And unlike the previous years, it's not being renewed, but the cabinet has given a grace period of 12 months, during which holders of that permit must apply for regular permits. By regular permits, we mean whatever type of permit South Africa can provide under the immigration laws, under the immigration laws of the country. So during that 12-month grace period, you apply for that new permit. And unfortunately, if you are not successful, it means then your sojourn or stay in South Africa is no longer legal because it's no longer regularized by extension permit, and you did not obtain any other status. Then you'll have to go back home. That's basically what it means. And that stands. It has not changed. What has changed was the removal of a circular, which came into the midst and caused more problems.
Right. So what would make somebody's application unsuccessful?
Well, if they don't qualify, I mean, there are qualifications for somebody who's applying for a study permit, for a spousal visa, for a work permit, for a business permit, all sorts of permits. There are laws. I mean, for a permanent residence permit, there are laws under which you obtain those, and they are processed against those laws. If in terms of those laws you don't qualify, then there's nothing we can do.
We spoke this morning on the channel with Mr. Vusmuzi Sibanda of the Africa Diaspora Forum. He believes that in those 12 months that people may be harassed by the police and face arrest. Please let's take a look, listen at what he said, and get your comments after that.
We've heard, the minister trying to explain and say, no, what they meant and the DBG was that those receipts must be furnished at the end of December next year, 2022, and it will be effective from the 1st of January 2023. But that is what was not on the directive. So as a result, we had, made an urgent application to the High Court, which is still going ahead this morning at 10 o'clock, for the same reason that the retraction of that directive does not help the situation because in any case, these ZEP holders are going to be continuing without a permit in their passports. Mm-hmm. Many of them were being arrested and, by police, in order to verify those permits. But now, without a permit, no bank can work on a directive that is published on the internet because nobody has seen it, and not will claim that they have not seen it, including employers. You can imagine if someone is to walk on the street and effectively with a permit that is expired on the 31st of December, number one, that means the person is illegal on a prima facie basis as far as the police are concerned. And many ZTP holders will be inconvenienced. They will be thrown into prison and spend up to about 7 days or more in order for that permit to be verified by the Department of Home Affairs.
Motsoaledi, one, has the department been served with papers following this court action this morning? Two, do people face arrest because they do not have these permits?
Well, that is his own interpretation, Dudu. As I said, the cabinet decision was very clear that when the Zimbabwe extension permit expires at the end of December, it's given a 12-month period, a grace period. The grace period means it is still effective, it's still working. If anybody obtained a bank account in South Africa on account of that exemption permit, then they will know that that exemption permit still stands. If there is any bank that is confused, then they will have to write to us, because we are the ones who issued that document. They have to come to us and ask for clarity. So when you say this document has expired, but you are giving it a 12-month period, it means you are extending its lifespan by 12 months. That's the simplest interpretation. I don't know what else needs to be interpreted.
Right. So on your desk is a report which you had commissioned since 2019, basically looking at people who are in the country illegally and had obtained residency illegally. We understand that some powerful, high-profile people are also implicated in this report. Are you at liberty to share some information with regards to that?
No. It is, I commissioned a study to review all the permits, whether it's a study permit, or work permit, or visa, or spousal, or permanent residence, or naturalization, whatever type of permit that allow people to stay in South Africa. Those are being reviewed. And the review period is from the beginning of the year 2004. The year 2004 is the year at which the Immigration Act 2002 came into effect. So we are starting there to review who got this permit and for what reason. What triggered that mechanism was when we discovered that a person like Bushiri, for instance, got this permanent residence and it was irregular. It's a permanent residence which he did not deserve. While I was still surprised, we also learned that the reverend, the pastor who is being accused of rape in the Eastern Cape, the gentleman called Omotoso, also got his papers irregularly. The question to was, who else? Why are all these religious leaders coming here and with irregular papers and establishing huge churches here and causing more problems when actually their documents are not in order? Then we said, let's review this, because it might be that South Africans are complaining about illegal immigrants when they are talking only of poor people, whereas rich people who came by plane through the airports carrying bags of money just buy their way through. And that is what worries me a lot, and that is being reviewed. And I'm happy to announce that on Friday, 2 big boxes were delivered here to my office for me to look at as a sort of a report about that. I'm not sure whether it is final yet, but I'll see what is in the report and I'll make it public.
Right. 2 boxes full, that seems like quite a lot of work to comb through. What happens in the instance of people who have been identified, the likes of the 2 people that you have just mentioned? For those who are still in the country, will they be deported without any exemption being applied?
Of course, if you came into a country illegally, through illegal documents, then you have committed 2 crimes. You have breached the Immigration Act, but I mean, you have also breached the laws of the country. You have committed fraud. Actually, if you are having fraudulent documents, we will certainly take action and we will definitely deport people. Because if they did not practice that fraud, they will not be having regular papers regularizing their stay in the country. So we are definitely going to take action. All I need to do is to open these 2 boxes, study them thoroughly, and you are right, it's a lot of work. But I believe I've got the whole of this holiday season, so that early next year I will be having a fairer idea what their findings were.
Right. In terms of ports of entry in the country, there's been quite a lot of queues at the Libombo border post, for instance, and we understand that the department will be operating 24 hours. Is this correct?
Yes, certain ports of entry like Bait Bridge and Maseru Bridge border post, they operate for 24 hours already. Others don't operate for 24 hours, but we want them to operate during this festive season. But we also, after the festive season, want to increase the ports of entry that operates for 24 hours. One of them, which we have been having a discussion with, is between us and Eswatini, the Oshu border post. We'll finalize the discussion. We are going to make sure that it opens 24 hours forever, but the others will open only for 24 hours during this festive season.
Motsoaledi, just maybe a parting shot. What is it that people need to be aware of? For instance, the kinds of conversations that you're having with your counterparts in Zimbabwe, a number of people worried that they might not be able to go home because of the COVID-19 restrictions that have been imposed by the government in that country. While I do appreciate it is separate to the work of this government, what kind of conversations have you been having, and are people, right in having this concern that they might not be able to go home?
Well, we also read about that decision, like you do, through the media. Nobody informed us officially. So I've just asked the newly appointed commissioner of the Border Management Authority to try and meet his counterpart in Zimbabwe to understand that decision. But I must also state that when countries, ever since the advent of COVID, when countries take a decision about COVID, they don't usually consider or even talk to the other country. We just wake up, you find that this country has taken this decision about its borders and about this COVID. Unfortunately, this is what has been going on. Maybe it's because of the nature of the disease that nobody planned for it, and everybody scuttles for cover whenever they take a decision about COVID. And so no country consults the other. We try to find out, but I must tell you, it has been like that from the beginning of COVID in January 2020. That countries wake up and take a decision about what's happening. So we have just woken up to hear that the Zimbabwean government has said anybody who goes back to Zimbabwe or who goes into Zimbabwe will have to quarantine themselves at their own cost for 10 days. That obviously is going to cause problems, but unfortunately we're not privy to that decision.
Each to their own. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. The Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Motsoaledi. Thank you.